My name is Trent Willis. I'm a member of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, Local 10, past president. And the first thing I wanted to say was for those who had the opportunity to make our meeting at the Union Hall, we thank you for coming to that. We also thank you for coming tonight. The reason we're here, if there's anybody in here who isn't clear on the reason we're here, is we're here to stop the privatizing of our schools, our ports, and the gentrification of our neighborhoods.
That's right.
The ILWU itself is really excited about these connections that we're making. It's been a long time coming. We should have done this years ago. I think there were many attempts to do this over the years since I've been a member of the ILWU. I've been a member for 25 years, and I've seen the different unions, especially in the Bay Area, attempt to connect many times. Very successful at certain times, not so successful at other times. I'm really excited, me personally, about this venture, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a coalition that not only influences city and county elections and candidates, but also unions. I think that is very important, that we have a coalition of different unions that can get together and influence union leadership. I don't know how many people in here know what a business unionism is?
Unfortunately.
Right. I was sure that there were going to be quite a few people that knew what that was, because business unionism stops a lot of progressive activity. That's what business unionism, the purpose of business unionism is to stop progressive activity of union members who want to see progressive change. This is why it's so important that we get together, the progressives, because there's a lot more of us than there are business unionists. There's a lot more progressive people, especially here in the Bay Area, than there are business unionists. So the only thing we have to do is connect those people and take the necessary steps to make the changes. And I think that we're well on our way. We had a good turnout at Local 10. Last week, was it, what date was that? The 16th. And we got a really good turnout in here today. I think you should give yourselves a round of applause. So even though I know that there's not too many people here that don't know what we're doing here for the ILWU, we are here to say no to the closure of public schools here in Oakland, and we're also here to say no to the selling off of community land and property to billionaires here. Okay. All right, so for those who don't know, there's been a proposal to close. I believe, I heard the mayor say that she wanted to possibly close up to 40 schools here. Yeah, that's what I was hearing. That's unacceptable, okay? The last meeting, I personally gave my definition of what I felt gentrification is. Gentrification is a systematic rundown of property, of schools, of public land, so that it can be bought cheaply by billionaires. Okay, the Bay Area, Oakland area is not isolated to this problem. This is going on all over the United States. Okay, it's contributing to the widening wealth gap, which is a huge problem here in the United States. Supposedly the richest country in the world, but can't afford to pay workers, which we all know workers make the wheels turn. We are the most important part of any society. is the workforce. In other countries, the workforce is treated with respect and encouraged to unionize, but not here in the United States. And I know people here who look at the news. You've seen on the news where you hear about people saying workers don't want to go to work here in the United States, and all of these corporations and businesses are having problems finding people to work. Well, I got another take on that. I think that they're having problems finding people to work because people are sick of working for nothing. And this country has a very wicked history of trying to get people to work for nothing. Okay? Matter of fact, we all know that we have a history of slavery in this country where people actually did work for absolutely nothing. Okay? And everything that we do, everything that we're fighting for is to prevent the powers that be, corporations, billionaires, from bringing us back to times where people work for nothing. And we all know that we all need jobs, we need health care, we need to be able to put food on the table, we need to be able to take care of our families. Okay, so this is ultimately what we hope that this coalition that we're building brings about, not only here in the Bay Area, but I hope that we grow into a nationwide organization, okay, that addresses these problems everywhere. But we have to start somewhere. So we might as well start here, where we have in common the same billionaire who is trying to privatize our schools here in Oakland and also trying to privatize our ports. Now, if the recent supply chain issues that you've been hearing about on the news haven't taught us the importance of port space and industrial port land, I don't know what else could be taught. Okay, it is crucial that we use our port land for cargo. It's crucial. So you can see with that said how aggressive and how arrogant this billionaire has to be to want to use our community land that's meant for our enrichment as people for his own playground, for an A's stadium. Now we want to make it clear, the people aren't against the Oakland A's. I'm going to say that again, because this is some of the messages that are trying to be put out to people. The people are not against the Oakland A's. The ILWU is not against the Oakland A's. Okay? We are against using the public's land to build a stadium for the Oakland A's. That is what we're against. We feel that there is land already set aside for an Oakland A's stadium, and it is where the Oakland A's are playing right now. We are definitely opposed to closures of public schools. We feel that there needs to be a bigger investment into public schools instead of closing them. Okay? So the schools in Oakland have been run down for many years in the poorest areas, which is exactly what gentrification is. Those schools need funding. They don't need to be closed down and replaced by charter schools, right? Which the Fisher family owns private schools, charter schools. What is it called? The KIPP program? Yes. KIPP. Okay, so they want to KIPPify the whole Bay Area. Okay? So the progressives, which is us, we need to do all we can to organize. We need to be ready for elections. We need to be ready for union elections. We need to get rid of all of the people who do the business for billionaires and corporations. And we need to put people in office that represent workers. So I know I've gone on too long, because my comrade next to me, Divya here, has to do her thing, and she's going to go over the agenda with you. But I just wanted to welcome each and every one of you and say how excited the ILWU is, and myself, very excited for this to be forming this coalition with you. And we are hoping for long-lasting longevity and much success for the future. So thank you very much.
This is why teachers and longshore have to work together, because the longshore's got the bite, but the teachers make the slides. So I'm Divya, I teach at CCPA, and I just wanted to say a little bit about like what are we going to do today and who put this agenda together, because ideally this is something that people become part of, and we can make this last for a long time. So it was Trent and I and Gennaro and Misty, if you guys could raise your hands, and Craig and Tim, and lots of others that are going to help facilitate some of the breakout rooms, or the breakout groups. We're not on Zoom. So here's what's coming up. We're a little behind time, that's okay. But we're going to be talking about, we wanted to propose a name for our coalition and a mission statement. And then we wanted to have a little discussion on that, and then talk about a proposed action that we're going to hope to get some feedback on and see if we can come to a consensus together. Then we'll have some time in groups to do some work to plan that action. And then we'll have report backs and next steps. Just before continuing, let's see who we have in the house. So teachers, where are you at? Let's see, what teachers do we have in the house? All right. Any other school workers that we have in the house? Custodians, case managers, administrative assistants, where are you at? That's right. All right. Students, where are the students at? Hey, we got the youth in the house. Longshore, where's the longshoreman?
Matter of fact, speaking of longshoremen, we'll tell you how serious our union is about this. We have our president here. Can you stand up, brother Fathers? This is Fathers Daly. He's the president of the local
10. Any other locals want to shout yourselves out? Local 7's in the house. SEIU vice president's in the house. Parents. Oh, 21. Local 21's in the house. And any parents in the house? Let's hear it for the parents. Yes. And grandparents and aunties and uncles. Right, so that's what we have. So let's get into it. Craig is going to put a timer on for 15 minutes. Because that's what we're going to max out at. And Trent is going to, so if you would like to read along with the proposed name of the coalition and the proposed mission statement, you can use the QR code that's up there. Hopefully I did it right. Or on your agenda. Or there might even be a paper one that could be passed out to you. And Trent is going to read it out loud.
Trent may be reading this out loud with no glasses. But before we start, thank you, brother. Before we start, we have somebody here that's representing the East Oakland Stadium Alliance. Did you want to say a few words, Louise, before we get started? Okay, so he's gonna talk about what's happening at the BCDC. The BCDC, there's an important vote coming up at the BCDC that's going to determine whether the go-ahead is done for the okay to build this stadium at Howard Terminal. So go ahead, Aaron. This is Aaron Wright. This is another member of the ILWU Local 10, past officer. I'm going to go ahead and let him tell you guys more about it.
All right, good evening. Thank you guys all for coming. I wanted to break down a little, because I was getting questions when I walked in the door about what happened at the SPAC meeting. This is more specific to the port and the concerns we have. One of the reasons why Howard Terminal is so key to our port infrastructure is that it's at a nexus of where ship, train, and truck traffic converge, okay? Howard Terminal is used as off-street parking. It got the trucks out of West Oakland streets. It's a staging area. It keeps truck traffic off the streets during rush hour. Hundreds of thousands of containers are put there in transit every year, okay? Not only that, the train runs right through there. The port turning circle for the ships is right there, and it needs to be upgraded. So there's a lot of maritime use that this facility has. If they change it to Oakland A's stadium and housing, it's going to directly impact our economic engine in the Bay Area. So we all know who is behind this. We know that Mayor Libby Schaaf works for him. Hook, line, and sinker. She has said there is no plan but to send the A's to Howard Terminal. Now, we've been fighting this for the last 3 years, and we were promised by Councilor Kaplan that if there wasn't a transportation plan, there would be no EIR. Yet last month she was one of the ones that voted up the EIR. So a huge betrayal, And there is no transportation plan. There's no overpasses to get over the trains. There's no, okay. Anyway, long story short, because I got to cut this off. The BCDC, the Bay Conservation Development Commission, SPAC committee, their Seaport Advisory Committee voted a week or so ago to keep Howard Terminal as port land, port use. But that was just the advisory committee. The next meeting is on May 5th. And I encourage you all, because the BCDC has a stated environmental justice component. And spending, the price tag on this project has gotten up to $1,355,000,000, which is just insanity when you think about it. And at the same time, they want to close Oakland Public Schools. I just don't have the words to describe it's just a shock. It is crazy. And we have to stop this. It's got to be stopped. So I encourage you to call in, emphasize the environmental justice, the travesty of justice, and at the same time, the city council said they were going to do a study on disparity. That they passed this thing. It's like, what? Let's start with educating the children of Oakland. Let's start with cleaning up our streets and helping out the homeless. So please join us on the 5th. We will be sending out the link for the Zoom meeting. And I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you.
All right, yeah, we'll also be handing out flyers. Thank you very much, Aaron. All right, getting down to business here, because I got my sergeant at arms here. So we're going to be deciding on two things here. We're going to be first deciding on the name of our organization, because we're getting prepared to fight that fight that Aaron was just talking about. So we got to get organized. We're going to be proposing a name to you, and then I'm also going to read the proposed mission statement. This is a democratic organization, so we're not going to start off with any type of top-down leadership. So please, if you have suggestions and anything that we're proposing to you, feel free to make those suggestions, and we'll talk about it. All right, so the proposed name for this organization is the Oakland Community and Labor Against Privatization, OCLAP. And the proposed Mission statement, if you guys want to read along with me, I'll do my best. These are not my glasses. All right, so we have the proposed name and mission statement. Okay, Oakland Community and Labor Against Privatization was formed in direct response to the organized efforts of the Fisher family, various Oakland elected officials, the Oakland School Board, and various Bay Area labor officials to privatize our public schools and public land / shipping ports. As a collective, we understand that Oakland is not the only American city under attack from billionaires attempting to privatize / gentrify for personal monetary gain. We understand that Black and brown communities across the country continue to be disproportionately affected by the resulting wealth gap epidemic. We also understand the continued effect privatization and gentrification have on the working class as a whole. The wealth disparity between the very rich few and the majority working class is larger than it has ever been in this country's history. The main reason for this phenomena is that the elected representatives continue to give the rich and corporate America access to public resources and wealth at an alarming rate. Resources and wealth created by the poor and working class. In response, we shall organize to forge a social, economic, and political movement for all working people, employed and unemployed, in our own name. We shall spread awareness, influence elections, governmental and union, to once and for all provide a voice for the working class, independent of influence by either of the corporate-dominated political parties. We shall work in conjunction with any organizations in which the purpose is to put an end to the oppression and exploitation of the poor and the working class, and shall hold any elected official, labor, or government accountable for catering to the interests of the rich few instead of the majority working class that elected them. We will achieve this by exposing and eradicating all efforts to privatize / gentrify any public resources for the financial benefit of billionaires, oligarchs, or those who in any way represent corporate greed. We shall oppose all tactics used to divide the working class, both outside and inside the labor movement. And finally, we shall create a voice and space for all people regardless of race, sex, age, gender, sexual orientation, ability, nationality, religion, or work status. We say no to the closing of public schools in Oakland, which provides education and jobs to disadvantaged communities, to pave the way for the Fisher family to take them over as private charter schools. We say no to the Fisher family attempt to benefit financially by acquiring industrial public land that creates good union-paying jobs and tax revenue for our communities to build private multi-million-dollar condos and a baseball park. We say yes to the redistributing corporate wealth to fund high-quality public education and services, adequate and affordable housing, and high-quality union jobs for all working people. All right, so you have just heard the proposed name of our organization and the proposed mission statement. We are open for discussion now. Yes, please make a line to come up to the mic if you want to comment. Right, and when you get up here, state your name and your organization, please.
Hey, I'm Rebecca Ruiz. I work with the Anti-Police Terror Project. We're here to support and draw the connections between gentrification and the criminalization of our youth and workers. I love the description. I wanted to say, I love OCLAP, but if we called ourselves Schools and Labor Against Privatization, we could be SLAP. Like a record we slap, but also we slap people into accountability. Right? It packs a punch.
We just had that with the Oscars.
Yeah, that's it. And I would capitalize brown, because often brown is not capitalized along with black,
We're gonna be in
and brown folks
trouble
are
if we
people.
get to slap it.
Okay. Now, is there any more discussion on the proposal? Yeah, we will capitalize brown. That's something we don't even have to discuss. Come on up, Steve.
So I'm Steve Zeltzer with United Front Committee for Labor Party Work Week and a member of the CWA Newspaper Guild. So I think this meeting is historic, actually, what we're doing here today. So let's give ourselves a hand, because what we've been fighting for is a united front against privatization in Oakland and around this country, and in fact around this world, because they're stealing schools and property all over the world. It's not just in this country. And we have to do that education, and that's why we're supporting a statewide education conference. One of the problems is, as has been brought up in the statement, is that we have officials of our unions that are supporting privatization. That are supporting privatization. The CTA and the CFT are actually supporting charter schools. That has to end. We cannot have two tiers. Public schools and private schools, they undercut each other. It's like a two-tier system. And the same is going with these nonprofits. And I think we should put something in there about the nonprofits. Because in San Francisco, and there's going to be some brothers and sisters here from the city and county, they are feeding millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars into nonprofits and taking away public city jobs to these nonprofits, so they have an understaffing of public jobs while they're feeding money into the nonprofits. They're using the nonprofits to undermine public jobs. So that's part of the education that we have to do. The other thing is, in our union and the Labor Council, there's a struggle going on right now. And I have to say, on Monday, for the first time in the history of the Labor Council, a slate ran against the president of the Labor Council around fighting privatization. And they were very angry about that. That actually some delegates were saying, no, we're going to oppose privatization of the Port of Oakland. We're going to oppose privatization of schools, because they're supporting it. They're supporting it. And right here in Oakland, and this is one of the things that I think we have to do, is we have to change the OEA and the SCI, and these unions have to reject supporting the port. They have to say no, and they have to fight in the Labor Council to say to hell with it. Because these Democratic politicians are using the excuse that the unions are supporting this project. That's what they tell us. The unions are supporting this project. The only reason they can say that is because these union officials, including Adrius Kluber, who runs the port and is president of the building trades, is in the hands of John Fisher. And we have to, and we're going to propose here later, a information picket at his house with some trucks to let him know what it means to kick the trucks out of the port and put it in the streets of West Oakland. So I think let's expand this out. I think we need an organization like this in San Francisco and cities all over this country. There's going to be an AFL-CIO convention on June the 9th in Philadelphia. And we need some resolutions in this convention, because there should be a national campaign against privatization throughout the country to fight this. That's something we can do. So thank you, brothers and sisters. Forward and onward.
All right, thank you, Comrade Zeltzer. All right, yes, come on up, come on up.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Milos, and I'm a member of UPTI, Local 7 from San Francisco. UPTI, the University of Professional and Technical Employees from the University of California. Statewide, we're about 15,000 workers that include social workers, a whole bunch of different workers working within the UC system. I wanted to say that I'm also a delegate from my union, and I was one of the people that ran for the executive committee on the slate called Time for Union Democracy, Education, and Power, a vote to defend working people in San Francisco. And there was a lot of different things on our slate that relate to union democracy and the need for that. I was very fortunate and honored to run together with Cheryl Fortin and Brenda Barros, who are activists and have been fighting against privatization of healthcare, as well as fighting against systemic racism happening within the city worker system as well, within the city as well. They're part of SEIU 1021, and they got a lot of slack for running, okay? They got a lot of slack. One of the important things is what Steve was mentioning about the AFL-CIO is the national AFL-CIO has a very dark, sordid history for working people here and throughout the world, okay? Okay, all right, I'll wrap it up. I'm gonna jump to my other hat. I'm also a listener station board member. I please encourage everyone to become members of KPFA because we need to have control over our community stations. We need to be able to have control, so we needed KPFA to be here today, okay? And they're not here. So we need to make them do that. The only way you can do that is if every one of you become members and vote for a new listener station board and become members of the CAB, the Community Advisory Board. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So listen, because I'm a pretty nice guy, but I am a dock worker, so I'm pretty tough. Okay, so what we're doing right now, because I know that we have people here who want to speak, but when you speak, please let's stay on the subject at hand. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're working on a mission statement and a name, and we got to get past that because that's the first thing, and we have to get past the first thing. So are there any speakers here who want to comment about the mission statement and the name? Okay, and then you next.
Judy, you can go first. Hi, so I'm Judy Greenspan. I'm with the Oakland Education Association. I'm the chair of the Substitute Teacher Caucus, and we're very excited about this coalition, and we want to thank the people who did the mission statement. My only comment about, oops.
Here you go.
Good way to end the conversation. No, the only thing I was just going to say is it's absolutely wonderful, but I feel like just to, and the Fisher family is clearly a big gentrifier, certainly of the port, certainly Kip Academy is a big set of schools, but we have other gentrifiers. So I wish that it would say to pave the way for the Fisher family and other charter school owners, just to make it clear, because there's a school board meeting going on tonight. The school board is in the process of giving away multiple classrooms from our public schools to charter schools under the excuse of following Proposition 39. And that's why a lot of teachers aren't here tonight. So it's very serious, and we need to oppose any and all growth of any charter schools, whether it's classroom giveaway, whether it's a merger, whether it's shutting down a public school.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Hi everyone. My name's Adi. I'm also with United Front Committee for Labor Party, and we're super stoked about this meeting. This is a wonderful opportunity for the working class to kind of assert its power at this stage of history. I just wanted to say, first of all, I really love the name and the mission statement. I completely agree with what Judy said. I think that would be a good addition to the mission statement. I also have a suggestion, and that is in the second paragraph. I think like what we want to do and how we're gonna, what we want to do is like super crystally clear, spelled out. I suggest that we add a few something about how we're going to achieve that. I know there's a sentence that starts with "We will achieve this by exposing and eradicating," and goes on. I suggest the words "by using class struggle methods," and what I mean by that is, look, Oakland is a Democratic Party run city. These people are not Republicans, and yet the allegedly more progressive party that is running this city is behaving no better or no different than the allegedly more conservative party. It is, its politicians are supporting people like Fisher, are totally in bed with their privatizing, charterizing policies. And I feel like we're not gonna get very far beyond if we just use, good old pressure tactics. Call your assembly member, call this, call that. We have done that. I'm not saying I'm necessarily opposed to that. Of course, thank you, Congressman. I'm not saying we should completely avoid those tactics, but we need something more powerful. We need strikes, we need pickets, depending on your contract, depending on, thank you. We need more militant tactics to assert ourselves. That's all I'm gonna suggest.
All right, thank you. And before we go to the next speaker, I just wanted to also acknowledge our Secretary Treasurer, Brother Edward Henderson is also here, ILWU Local 10. Thank you for coming, brother.
With me, my name is Janelle Boucher. I'm an ILWU Local 10 member, and I just don't really want to say Oakland. I just think it should say Bridge. That's my idea right there. It should say Bridge because it's like between everybody in the Bay Area. It's bridging these gaps in the community, coming together, all of us from different unions and everything like that.
All right, thank you, brother.
I would like to call the vote on the name. So we have clap, we have slap, and then it sounds like we have bridge. I would like to call the vote.
I'll call the vote. That's all right. All right. So just to be clear, all speakers, when you come up, you're coming up to make suggestions, and then we're going to go over the suggestions after when we get to the end. Okay?
Thank you. I just wanted to suggest that we move the last paragraph into the middle because I feel like it takes too long to get to the demand. And I think that we want people to be engaged. And then the ending with about religion and works, like all that, it's kind of like an end point. That's just my wordsmithing. I'm here, Alan. I live up the hill from here. I'm a Oakland community member, formerly worked for Oakland Unified, also raised my parents, my children up in Oakland, so, yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to cut this off now. And we want to thank the educators for keeping us grammatically correct. We need that. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna vote on is the name. Okay, so what we have on the dock here now is we have, of course, OCLAP. That was the first suggested name. And then we had SLAP. I don't think Chris Rock would like that name at all. That's some long-short humor. Okay. And then the third one was, I believe it was BLAP.
No,
right?
Bayclap.
Bayclap.
Bay Area.
Okay, Bayclap. Okay, so we're just gonna do a simple raise your hand vote. Okay, and then if I can get like a sergeant at arms or somebody to count the votes here. Are you gonna do that for us? Yes. Oh, slap.
Whoa, y'all ain't get ready.
Okay, well, why don't you? Okay, wait. Okay, so we're cutting off suggestions now, so that everybody understands. So how many people like the name OCLAP? Raise your hands. Okay, are you counting? All right, so we got 8. 9. Wait, raise your hands if you like the name OCLAP. Okay, we'll stand up then so we can count, so we can see you.
Yeah, so as she counts, they sit down.
Listen, hey. Okay, we're gonna go one name at a time, and then we're gonna vote. Okay, so the first name is OCLAP. For those who like the name OCLAP, please stand. They want to know all of them first. Oh, you want to know all of the options? Okay, I just went over that, but we'll do that again. Okay, so we have, what are the options here? OCLAP.
And then, Bay Area Clap.
Then we have Bay Area Clap. And then we had just SLAP. Oh, it was O-SLAP. Okay, so we have Bay Area SLAP, O-CLAP, and O-SLAP. And just plain SLAP. Okay?
Or just clap.
All right, so let's see the reason. Let's have some order here. Let's have some order. So the reason I want to use hands is because we have people that are currently standing, and we don't want to count somebody that doesn't want to be counted. Okay? So all those in favor of using OCLAP, raise your hands. Okay, can we get some help counting? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, I got you. All right, so we got 15 in favor of OCLAP. You want to write that down? Oh, you got it. Okay. Bay Area SLAP. Bay Area Clap. I thought it was SLAP. Okay, so Bay Clap. All in favor of Bay Clap, raise your hand.
Did you count me?
Okay, let's count.
I thought you put my hand down.
No, I was putting my hand up.
How many you got, Tim?
17. Did you have your hand up?
I did.
21?
21.
Okay, 21 in favor of Bay Clap.
But they didn't keep it up long enough.
All right, all those in favor of O-SLAP, raise your hands. Okay, let's.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
10, 11,
14.
14. All right, so we got 15. Back there it was 15. Okay, so we got 15 in favor of O-SLAP. All right, and just plain SLAP. How many?
Oh my God.
I think, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, I think SLAP, all right, good job. All right, so from now on, we will be known as SLAP. Schools Labor Against Privatization. Okay, let's get down to the mission statement now. No, the changes in the mission statement. Okay, can you let me know?
Can we just have the organizers rewrite it? Can we just have the organizers?
Can you do that here, Craig? Just rewrite it with the changes. Okay, yeah, we will rewrite it and bring it to the next meeting. And that meeting might be on Zoom, right? Yeah, we're going to be doing, that's the next thing we were going to propose. Okay, so we'll rewrite the mission statement and have it available at the next meeting. All right? Yeah, go ahead and give yourselves a round of applause. So anybody who hasn't signed into this meeting today, please raise your hand and we will bring you a sign-in sheet. Okay? Please put all of your information on there. Okay, now the third thing we're proposing is we're proposing a mixture of face-to-face meetings and Zoom meetings to alternate. Okay, because everybody can't make the person-to-person meetings. Okay, so should we vote on that? Okay, what's next?
I think the proposal's next.
Okay, the proposal is next. All right, so we're proposing an action. Proposed action is the port shutdown and the one-day school strike on April 29th. Also, just to let everybody know, the ILWU is also going to be celebrating May Day on that day. Okay, and the reason we're doing that is because May Day falls on a Sunday this year. So we want to make sure that our May Day celebration is impactful. Okay, so the ILWU Local 10 membership voted to have celebrated on that Friday. Okay, so this is the proposed action. It says we propose that this coalition calls for the organizes a one-day shutdown of the Port of Oakland and the Oakland schools on Friday, April 29th. Okay, rationale. A public demonstration allows us to put our message out there, show that we have a strong, united community and labor front against privatization, and increase the momentum toward our goals of stopping school closures and stopping the stadium project. We want the billionaires and the school district to be convinced that things are only going to get more difficult for them from now on if their plans persist. If we can come together publicly, we can unlock new levels of militancy moving into next, it should say the next school year, and continuing the fight to keep public resources public. All right. Is there any discussion on the action proposal?
So we're going to invite people to come up. We definitely want to hear what people have to say about this. I want to say a little bit more to give a little bit more context. I'm a member of OEA, and I know we have many OEA members here. So as Trent explained, the Longshore does an annual shutdown for May Day, and they've decided to do that on a weekday, on a Friday. The question is to think about how could we move forward, especially for schools, for a strike of school workers that day. And so a little bit of context around that, especially for the OEA members in the room. OEA has filed an unfair labor practice against OUSD because the school closures violate agreements that we won during the strike in 2019. So essentially for us, school closures are a violation of our contract, and they're essentially an attack on the OEA as a union. They're certainly an attack on ASME and SEIU and the other school workers as well, because they potentially mean a threat to our jobs and are certainly a threat to the proposed, the schools that are being closed. They're certainly a threat to their jobs. So that's a little bit of context for the OEA to pull off a one-day strike. Depends on the strength of our organizing. It would depend on the people here, if we have it in us to reach out to the other reps at other school sites, to reach out to parents, to have a united labor front of the OEA and other OUSD unions to make that happen. So that's a little bit of context for folks to consider. But this is a really important opportunity for school workers to unite. The ILWU is already shutting down the port on that day, and this is an opportunity for folks to unite. So I think at this time we're going to invite people to come up and share their comments before we take a vote on if this coalition is going to move forward to try to organize this action.
And before anyone comes up here, we're talking about the proposal. All right? Yeah, there'll be time limits, 2 minutes. 1 minute? Okay, 1 minute. Okay, 2. So which one you guys want? You want 1 minute or 2 minutes? Okay, sounds like 1 minute to me. Right, okay, 1 minute, comrade.
Well, I don't plan to do too much speechifying, especially since I got to speak at the last port shutdown 2 years ago. John Holmes, member of the executive committee of Peralta Federation of Teachers. The main thing I want to say, so I'm sure all in favor of another port shutdown. and it's time for labor to do its fist, especially with the longshoremen. I keep reading stuff in the business press about how they're freaked out about the possibility of the longshore union going on strike. You know, so that's the tactic that really makes them listen. And the last thing I want to say about, well, firstly, I should say, I did send out a mailing to the members of my part-time committee. Anyone from my part-time committee and from the Federation of Teachers here? Oh, well, guess not. But the last thing I want to say is there's also another May Day action that I just heard about today, namely CCSF, City College of San Francisco, the union there, which is thinking about striking, they're doing some strike authorization stuff, is planning a May Day march in defense of CCSF on May 1st, on that Sunday, not conflicting. And I think working together, that's a union that, unlike my own, I regret to say, might well be want to work together. Thank you.
Man, I got a tough time keeping
All right.
Yes.
Yes, I thought I was clear first time. Okay, so what we're talking about now is the proposal of an action on April 29th at the Port of Oakland. Okay?
Yeah, that BCDC meeting is going to be in person, not on Zoom. I'm totally for this. You know, nothing speaks right before elections like the community mobilizing in mass. And these city councilmen need to be called out publicly and terrified that they ain't going to get elected again. Thank you.
All right, are there any more comments?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Coleman Rosenberg, Masters Meets and Pilots. We move the ships that the longshoremen work. And I just want to say, if we have a port shutdown, that's going to demonstrate what's going to happen in the long term if the A's get Howard Terminal. I'm absolutely for the one-day shutdown to show what could happen overall, whether we like it or not.
Thank you.
I would like to add.
Come up.
I think I might like to reach out. No, come on.
Got to follow the rules. Follow the rules. Come on up here. Don't be shy.
Not shy. I was just gonna add, yes, I'm in favor of this. Organizing is what I do. But I want to make sure that our parents and our children are there as well. So we need to get the Oakland community out at this shutdown.
Absolutely agree to that. Okay, so are there any more? Yes.
Hey y'all, I am shy, so. My name is Jazz. I'm a teacher at La Escuelita, and I'm also a parent of a student at La Escuelita, so I think it's important to hear our voices, right? I am 100% in support of this. Many of the parents that I've been speaking to at La Escuelita are also in favor of this. We've done our own organizing with strikes immediately following the board's decision, so seeing all of Oakland kind of in our union and the power that we have together, I think is not only important for our parents to see and our students to see and the Oakland community, but also the district needs to see that we have all of these people standing together and that we're not okay with what they're doing.
All right, thank you. All right, last opportunity for comments on the action on the 29th. Going once. Here we go. There you go. Come on up. I saw you back there.
Come on down. That's why Price is right.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Galdiso. I was a longtime public school teacher at LA Unified and Hawaii Department of Education, and I retired to farming. But I want to say just two things. Number one, just to be very accurate, I was a history teacher for a long time. This is not May Day. May Day is when you put flowers in your hair and dance around the maypole in Europe. This is May 1st, and we need to be in step with the rest of the world that celebrates International Workers' Day as May 1st. In the Philippines, it's Mayo Uno. In Mexico, it's all known as May 1st, International Workers' Day. And so the second point is this. It's not about community per se, it's about the working class. It's about workers coming together and demonstrating that ultimately, and in the final analysis, we have the power in this society. We have the power in the world to shut things down. We shut it down, there's nothing that the ruling class and all the rich can do.
All right, thank you. Come on.
Hi, good evening, folks. My name is Ronald Gillespie. I'm a PE teacher over at Oakland International High School, and I wanted to support this proposal for a few reasons. One is that I think it's necessary that we stop these closures and we stop this gentrifying project at the Howard Terminal now. I think the strategy of the school board has been to chip away at the public schools year by year. And we saw that in the teachers' 2019 strike, that they want to go school by school or every few schools at a time. And so it's not a victory that they turned it down from 18 to 4 closures. And so we need to stop this here and now. Another reason is that, it's a PE metaphor, but you play how you practice. And so going forward, the OEA is about to go into negotiating our general contract. And so if we want to have a strong contract fight and really go on the offensive against privatization and get a moratorium on charters, if we want to set a precedent for stopping gentrifying projects like these ballparks in East Oakland, then we need to practice now. And so we practice the struggle by being in the struggle. And this is a great opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, comrade.
Hi, I'm Stacy Thomas, and I ran for the school board in District 1 in 2020. Unfortunately, I did not win.
You ain't trying to take Sam's seat now? We're looking for a
My
replacement.
question is, because I'm neither a teacher in OUSD or a Longshore person, what do those of us who are not in either of those positions, what do we do? Like, what are we
Put your
voting
mic
on?
up.
What's the action?
Okay, so just to be clear, this organization is not just for the teachers and longshoremen. That's why we added the word community in there. The community is the most important part of the equation. Okay, back in 1934, when the ILWU won the right to have a union hall and the right to organize as a union, it was the community who was instrumental in helping us do that. There was a general strike. That took the community. Okay, so we definitely want to reach out to the community, and as many people from the community that can join us to help us outreach to the community is crucial. That's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually the most crucial part of the equation. Did that answer your question?
Well, specifically for this one-day strike.
Join the rally.
What exactly are you asking us to do?
Okay.
What is it?
Well, we're gonna have a rally point, and we want to attract as many community members as we possibly can, because that's where that's gonna have a lot to do with us spreading the word and spreading our message about what we want to do. Okay, we have upcoming elections where we want to influence and get the people in office that we want in office. We also have upcoming contract negotiations. I heard that was mentioned earlier. Yes, the ILWU is going to be, actually we're already in contract negotiations starting next month, right, Pete? Yeah, so all of these things are intertangled, and we need the community to help in all aspects of this.
And there might be a march, it just all has to be worked out, and it's not been worked out.
That's what we're going to start planning that tonight.
Hey folks, my name is Marika, I teach at Oakland High School. I just quickly wanted to say, for those folks that were around Occupy Oakland, like I guess heck years ago now, but the generations and decades of port shutdowns that have happened, just remember that the most effective ones have had the city there, right? So we're working and we're organizing within our unions, and putting pressure on our leadership as much as possible, and our coworkers, but we're also putting pressure on the city and organizing within the city. So I took a real quick count. There's like 120 people in this room that are bomb organizers, and we have a mandate. Like, we have a mandate right here to really go out and get the city to the port on this day. So that's all I wanted to say.
All right, thank you. So we're going to cut it off at some point here. So is this Craig? Are you in line? Are you in line?
I think I am.
Okay, so we're going to cut it off after the last person in line there.
My name is Saul Kanowitz. I'm representing the Answer Coalition, Act Now to Stop One End Racism. We've worked with the ILWU for a lot of activities in solidarity with stopping the Zim ship from coming from Israel, in solidarity with the Palestinian people. We worked with May Day, and we support and endorse this, and I think it's great that we look forward to going out into the community and knocking on doors and getting people to come to the kind of action that we're talking about here.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Craig Gordon. I'm a teacher in Oakland, substitute teacher now. For years taught in high schools and middle schools, and I'm very much for this proposal. And I want to just say that this is going to also help us in OEA to convince our fellow members because this has to be put to a vote if we're going to actually strike have an unfair labor practice strike on April 29th or any other day. And so a vote and a resolution from this body in solidarity with ILWU and the community is going to go a long way to helping us do that. I also wanted to say that I do hope that we will, when we talk about this, elaborating on this action in terms of going down the port, that we talk about possibly marching from downtown and shutting down certain strategic targets, such as city center, where Shorenstein Properties and the sort of center of real estate development that's driving a lot of this privatization is. We might do that and then march down to the port. That's what I would propose. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, all, Rebecca again, APTB. I just wanted to say, this doesn't negate folks from doing something May 1st. In fact, when May Day, when it was started in Chicago, that lasted a lot longer than a day. Our black and brown anti-authoritarian comrades like Lucy Parsons Gonzalez were out there longer, right? So I wanted to say that. And also just make a note that although community isn't no longer in our name since we're calling ourselves SLAP, there's a false dichotomy between labor and community and workers and community. We are all workers, we are all labor, even if you don't have a job, unless you're a fucking boss, you are a worker. So own that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so that's going to conclude our speakers on this topic. And let's go for a vote. Okay, so all in favor of the action on April 29th? I think that is pretty much overwhelming support there. Division, I see division. No, I don't. Okay, so all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? I think the ayes have it. All right, so we're moving right along here. Our name is Slap. Did I get that right? Oh, just slap. Just slap.
Now you're trying to get slapped. Now you're trying
Yeah, I'm trying to get slapped. I've been breathing diesel fumes all day, so it's been great. Okay, so our name is Slap. Okay, we're going to have the mission statement ready for you at the next meeting. And we've approved our first action. Give yourselves a round of applause. Okay, so now we have some important business that my comrade Divya is going to go over with you.
All right, so we want to be respectful of people's time. We advertise the meeting is going till 7:30, so we're going to go to 7:45 and not later than that. But what's important, if we really are serious about this action, is that we have some concrete next steps and that we all take on a little piece of it. So we wanted to propose these committees, and different people are listed here as able to facilitate those discussions. So I'm going to say the person's name and they're going to raise their hand so that you know where they're going to be. Okay? So action logistics planning, I believe that's Marika, and that's if you want to talk about where to go on that day, if you want to talk about these questions of, where are we showing up, who can do all the little pieces and make the banners and make the flyers. If you want to work on the outreach committee, which means you're able to reach out to people, we have a petition that can be circulated, that's a way to reach out to people to get their support. If you have connections in your union, in OEA or ILWU or in the community, that's Ronan and Nick. That's over there. Media and communication. That's Craig and Trent. That's if you are interested in social media or making a press release. So those are these two up front. Resolutions committee. That's the committee that is specifically right now trying to move a resolution in OEA to support this action. That's chaired by, or that's going to be led by Shane. So if you'd like to join that. And then finally, this is a bit separate from the April 29th action, but the fifth committee is planning ahead for a candidate forum. We've talked about the need to flip certain elections and prepare for that. That's going to be led by Tim. So you're looking for Tim if you want to talk about that. So let's take 15 minutes in these groups, and then we'll leave the final 5 minutes for report backs, or maybe not report backs, maybe announcements. Please, in those groups, wait, don't start talking yet. Yes, please make sure, did I write this on a slide? Am I that good? Yes, I am. Okay, so on the slide, can you do these things? Make sure everyone's email or contact is written down. People have signed in the sign-in sheet so we can find the contact, but write down their name. Decide if someone can be the chair or someone can sort of bottom line and report back. And then find a time, if possible, if the committee can meet again, because our next planned meeting for this coalition is April 14th, and if you can meet before then, we kind of need to.
We want them to take notes.
And take notes. Find someone to take notes. There are sheets here for each committee where you can take notes. I'm going to come give them to those people. So we're going to set the timer for 15 minutes for these discussions. It's not enough time, but it's never enough time.
All right. Okay, so they want to demonstrate something to you. Tell everybody what you want to demonstrate to them before you do it.
We made this secret handshake. Well, it's not secret anymore because we're going to be showing it to you guys. But it's supposed to signify slap.
Uh-oh. All right. So you want me to count down? You want me to count down? Okay, so we're going to count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right on! All right. So thank you guys very much. Thank you for coming up with that. Now we have our official secret handshake that everybody knows about. give them another round of applause.
The way you enter into the building, you don't know how you get out.
Okay, before everybody starts leaving, we want to mention the next dates, and then we will do lightning speed, just whatever your group wants the whole group to know, right? So we will have very short report backs because they're important. OEA Rep Council is April 11th, and there's a resolution for a one-day strike happening at that Rep Council. Yeah, that's right. That's a big deal. April 13th, there's a teach-in happening at Dewey. It's on this flyer. That teach-in is about no school closures. It's a way to come and connect with other people about the context of the fight against school closures in Oakland. Nate has more flyers if you'd like one. Please promote that at your school. We'll send all of these links out. April 14th, we wanted to propose that the coalition meets on Zoom because we don't want to tire people out. And April 20th, we'll meet in person again, so we'll announce that announcement. These meetings are a lot because we have an April 29th action, but moving forward, we do need to decide how often we're actually going to meet. I'm gonna call people up from different committees if they want to run up and just say your most important next steps, and hopefully you wrote down people's names. The outreach committee, you want to come up?
Are you ready?
Okay. Okay.
All right. From outreach, we had a lot of ideas, too little time, so we're gonna have to make a lot of this happen later. We're gonna move a petition. We're talking about doing a conference with other area unions. We're gonna obviously get a flyer together. We're gonna do a lot of neighborhood flyering. We also wanted a flyer at the sports games, opening A's game, the Roots games, in the unions, at a whole bunch of other spots, and we also want to do social media stuff. I think the main thing that we need from all of y'all is, one, if anyone has really good graphic design and wants to help us put a flyer together, that would be helpful. And then we need everybody just helping us flyer. So like, I know a lot of folks are in different committees, but if you can, just pass out flyers, outreach, spread it, social media, all of that, help us out.
Flyer. Who says yes, take your flyer?
I'm guessing everybody, right?
Better be everybody. All right, Resolutions Committee. And Media and Communication, you're on deck.
Shane, big Shane.
Okay, everyone. As many of you heard, Trent was talking about business unionism before right in the beginning of the meeting, and that might be the biggest obstacle in our union. So we have to understand that we have to get this motion passed at our April 11th Rep Council. And we actually had a little resolution for a rolling strike, and then it requires for an actual strike vote. There's a couple things, the hurdles we have to get through. So that's going to be the biggest challenge. We have to really reach out to the reps between now and April 11th to make sure the Rep Council votes it in, and then we have to go about and gearing up for this strike vote where it's going to be we're going to need 90% of yes, and at least 75% of the members voting. So that's what the obstacles that we face, and we will bring that home for everyone so we can make sure we have a big teacher turnout for April 29th.
Always Wildcat.
That's right. All right, Media and Communication.
Thank you. Hi. So we had a really good meeting. We, good bunch of folks, a lot of people with experience. And by the way, I guess we're going to need to coordinate with the outreach folks, because we also are talking a lot about, in addition to doing just sort of your standard conventional TV, newspaper, media, social media. So we're going to need to put our heads together with what you guys are doing. But we're very excited about all the different people who have lots of experience and ideas about how we can build that up and get a good campaign going. And if there's anybody here who's willing to stay for just a couple minutes after we adjourn, who is willing to make a quick, because one of the things we talked about is putting up statements. So anybody wants to give like a 30-second statement about something related to why they're involved in this, or the problem with the privatization of the ports, closure of schools, and so on. Please stay, and it will be quick.
That's right.
Right on. Political action.
Good job. So our group, we decided that we are going to do a candidates forum. We ain't decided a date, but I did have a member come up to me and say tentatively on the 20th or the 19th. We voted on that, but that might be the date. But for the June elections, we got superintendent, board of soups, D3 for the, I think for the board of soups, the DA, the sheriffs, and we're also talking about having a mayoral forum. Our next meeting is going to be on Zoom. It's going to be on Monday, April the 4th on 6 p.m. So if you want to be on that, please sign our sign-up sheet. And our committee leads are 4 wonderful ladies who stepped up to be our committee lead. Kitty, Iris, Cheryl, and Melody are our committee leads. So we have a group of committee leads. We're gonna get some forums going. We're gonna hold these candidates accountable. That's right. Thank you. Yep, that's our group right there. Please come, even if you're not in our committee. We would love to see you in our Zoom, so you can just come check out what we're doing. Cool.
right, and action planning, perhaps most importantly.
Perhaps.
No, social
The
media.
only thing that I have to say is that we are meeting April 6th at 7 p.m. We're going to try and meet in person. We really, really, really need as April 6th at 7 p.m. We really, really want members from Longshore, at least one person to be there at that meeting, and hopefully members of OEA leadership to be there as well, to be tapped in with what our plans are for logistics. All right, and we got a lot of connections and a lot of balls rolling, hopefully already. But yeah, that's it. It is, we need a space still. Or it will be over Zoom, depending on, what's gonna work better for Longshore and also for if we can get OEA leadership there too. Yep, or potentially Restore Oakland, which is by Fruitvale Barton. That's it.
You can always use this space if you need it. Yeah, highlight them up. You can always use this space if you need it.
So speaking of which, I want to say that it's no one's going to remember all of these things, so you need it to arrive to your email, yes? So please make sure that you've signed the sign-in sheet, and also, if there's anyone, maybe 2 or 3 people that can help enter the data into our spreadsheet so that all the emails are in there. We have most of them actually, because a lot of you came the last time, but that is really hard. And if there's like 2 people that are down to do that, it would be so helpful. So if you can come up at the end and say, yes, I'll do that, that would be amazing. If anyone's down to help, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. The one thing I wanted to say is that the Zoom meetings are a little easier to organize and get everybody knowledge of that meeting, and we can send out emails to everybody to let them know when these meetings are. So please pay attention to your emails, and we can do that, right? We can inform everybody to when each committee meeting is. I hope that each committee chose a leader, and that everybody has everybody's names and numbers and that kind of thing, right? All right, so good. All right, so I just wanted to say on behalf of the ILWU Local 10, if I can do that, Brother President. All right, we are very pleased to see you once again. I want to commend Brother Moses up there for providing this space for us. The work he has done and for the struggle, and just thank you all. And I look forward to a prosperous and strong organization we're gonna build here.
Slap.
Woo! Slap.
Thank you, everybody. And it's for real, if anyone wants to help, put the names in, come up here. Thank you.
And if anybody wants to make a quick statement, for 30-second video statement that we'll start our social media off with, that'd be cool. Okay, okay.
My name is Gennaro LeVar Ball, triple member ILWU, Local 10. And there's no need for charter schools. Charter schools already been taking over areas at a rapid pace. And where I grew up went to elementary school in New Orleans, there's no more public school system because they're all charter now. And the privatization of the port is directly affecting me in the place where I work currently. And that is not a need for that. They just got a letter put out by the Port of Oakland on March 18th saying that the port has increased their imports in by 6.3%. That doesn't make any sense. Why are they even considering a stadium, the port commissioners, if they already put out a report saying they need more space? It's just backwards.